Hello, everyone. So sorry for the delay. Of course, it's not a stream unless everything decides to break, but you know what? We're going to just roll with it. So thank you so much for your patience and welcome to our very first interlude of Ampistrano. I'm so excited to be here and to welcome our newest cast member, Mozzarella.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. So, welcome on in, everybody. We're so excited to have you today to get this brief little interlude about Mott's new character. There will not be any artwork today, but that is totally okay. Lynn just showed Mott's and I the finished artwork as of last night, and it looks so good. So,
I am fine. These are normal reactions to incredible art. Just
Lynn
it's
is
fine.
Lynn is a powerhouse as fucking usual. So yeah, very excited to get on into it. Brief little just content warnings, kind of housekeeping for today and kind of with Ampistrano as a whole. It is a campaign that deals with both levity and as well as it does get into those heavier kind of moments. Today, we're going to kind of be dealing with complex and complicated relationships, things such as fighting supernatural beings today. May or maybe, I don't know. It's going to be up to Mott's and their character, so we'll kind of see. But honestly, today's going to probably be a little bit lighter in terms of the content warnings for today and probably for the rest of the interludes before we get into the full season, just as a heads up. And yes, thank you, Fair. Please go follow, support, and go commission Lynn because Lynn is phenomenal. So please do that as well. Mats, do you want to like briefly introduce yourself real quick? I realize I said such an asshole. I asked that as you were drinking. I'm so sorry.
Look at this cute bear mug.
But it's so cute though.
Hello. Hi y'all. I'm Mott's or Megan. I am a voice actor and an AP performer. I forgot the rest of the stuff that I usually say, but hi, I'm so happy to be here and play a cool character.
That's gonna be an absolute blast.
You're not
Um,
getting spoilers for me.
I mean, they're gonna find out very quickly. So it's not spoilers for too long. So yeah, I think that's relatively it. All that I have. If you want to support us, consider subscribing to the channel or our Patreon, as that is now going to be back to being active. There is going to be a ton of stuff upcoming with this new season, such as sneak peeks on our new overlays. I'm going to credit Pandora for our promos, as well as is the one who inspired me to make the overlays for the interludes. And then that I had to very quickly adjust on the fly because they decided not to work. But it's all good. Please go and support Pandora as well, as she is part of our newest member of the Lore Keeper and design team for Ampistrano. So expect to see more of her doing all the things as well. And yeah, we're going to have a brand new stuff for everything later this month, but that's later this month. Let's dive into today's interlude. If you're ready, Mods.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get started. Let me grab the song for you real quick. The season changing is always a time full of excitement, weariness, reflection, and opportunity. As one season dies, another gives way, is born anew, much like the people in this land that live their lives day to day. Some find themselves invigorated with this change. The crispness now fills the air ever so slightly. Fall is in full force in Ampistrano. The leaves have slowly changed from vibrant greens. The heat has slowly dissipated into more of a brisk autumn. The threads that weave this story find us overlooking the grand capital of Jorix. a place we have not yet been to in our time in Ampistrano just yet. Piercing through the cloudy sky are these large temple structures overlooking the city itself on a cliff, almost like a mantle serving the city, the ever-watchful eyes. Welcome to the Temple District. We flow through the now busy streets, as it's now at about this point, about mid-afternoon. Wind whipping through, everyone who's walking by, various townspeople wearing layered clothing as it is indeed much colder. Several people are pushing carts as we follow the camera view, full of pumpkins, apples, peaches that are starting to go out of season. You can hear the ricketing through. Just off of the main roads, though, you see several people hidden, whether that be because they're delving into devilish dealings or perhaps trying to stay warm. We instead turn a little bit further into the Temple District, more towards the cliff face overlooking the Osmit Sea. A grand temple with large beams that are completely open towards the ocean itself. A perfect view of the sunset every single day, which is when primarily this temple functions. This is the Lady of the Vales temple within Jorix, a grand spire of possibility, healing, and wonder. Within these hallowed halls, we find Mats, your character. If you would like to describe them and what they might be doing on this busy afternoon. It's about 3 o'clock to give or take. Oh, you were muted, Lovey.
I am muted. There we go. Ostani of the Vale stands about
Hang on 1 second. It's doing the thing where the sound went out. Hang on. I know. Hang on. Thank you, Fair. Give me 1 second. I was doing this before. Okay, let's try again. Mats,
hello.
Okay,
Hi.
You're good now.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
You're good. Could you tell me about what is happening this day just one more time?
Sure. So as of right now, it's about mid-afternoon in the Temple District. The temple itself is getting ready for their kind of sunset ceremonies and the sunrise ceremonies as well. That's when the temple is the most active at those two equinoxes of the day, to welcome in kind of the darkness and the night, but also to kind of signal the dawn of the new day as well. The veil itself is that intermediary between life and death. And so what is the most poignant time but sunset and sunrise? So at this point, you're probably just about getting ready. Your sunset is still a few hours away. But depending, since you are higher up within the temple's ranks, you have a lot more responsibilities. You can actually see as you are kind of maybe walking around. And at that point too, you can re-describe your character because that's when the sound cut out too. You can kind of see kind of the fledglings, which are kind of the newly to be initiated into the Vale's order, either running to and from classes as they are trying to learn the customs of the Vale. A very relatively secretive kind of order in itself, in terms of what it is that you all do. So you can hear kind of giggling as these two younger tiefling girls, their hair kind of pulled back in a half up, half down kind of do, wearing these simple purple robes before they're allowed to wear the night ones that you were wearing, as they are quickly shuffling by, and one runs into you and go, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean we're running late."
Late.
Yeah.
Run off now before you know what? I didn't see a thing.
Thank you, lady. Thank you. And they like quickly just dart off, and they're like, "Man, she's so cool." Like, you just hear this. They're kind of running off. Like, they're both like in awe, but of also like the fear of your gaze has kind of pandered them to stay on task. If you would like to now officially describe your character and what it is that they might be doing.
They stand about 7 to 8 feet tall. They are a centaur with long red rowan hair, like that goes really thick down to the feet and the hooves, and their hair and their mane, their tail, are long black curly hair, very thick, wild, and hints of red throughout that matches the hair on their legs and body. They wear the pink robes of the veil with the robes of their status and their rank. On their hair, they have this netting, a soft, very delicate, almost as if it's made out of glass or little droplets of clear jewels that look like raindrops that end in little droplets down, that keep the thick hair together, but it still grows past, I think, past their hips, down to their hips, down to their front to hooves. They have a mace, and they're, how to describe them, as sharp features, long elongated ears, thick eyebrows, dark brown skin, and almost freckles, wherever the sun has caught them. If they're out that late or adventuring, which that doesn't rarely happen here in the Vale, but sometimes Ostani can find a moment to stargaze and enjoy peace and rest and fall asleep and wake up to the morning sun, which is a joy in it of itself. Right now, they are going from point A to point B to where they are needed next. So there's a little anxiety, like, oh, we have to get to somewhere important. There are things to be done, sunrise to sunset. They're just going through their checklist of everything that is happening right now and who to check in next.
Okay. Your hooves echo across the cobblestoned ground. As you're kind of walking through these halls, you're in more of the back half of the temple itself, so not the public facing. You already walked through those grand aisles, as well as the, to describe that kind of entrance again, two large kind of pillars that show the Osmond Sea ahead. But inside as well is this large kind of pool that is directly before, because you're on the cliff face. And within that, there is a large kind of almost well in the very center of the pool. And you, being a Veil cleric and one that is so attuned to the Veil itself, can see this. This is not something you could always see. This was part of your initiation into the order itself. But you can see that steady flow of golden kind of energy, this thread that bisects perfectly between the two pillars. This is the opening to the veil itself in this subsection of Jorix. And it flows through the entire temple itself like a river. As you move to the lower floors where you are now, and even as you're kind of walking through, even now, this staircase descending lower, it spirals around the gold beam of light, that well of spiritual energy. And every now and then, like, your hair moves with just a pulse. And can you roll a spiritual check for me, please?
Yes. Could you remind me what to roll here?
Yes, so you have a d20, and then because you are a Veil Cleric, you have a +4 to the roll.
Oh, that's a 16 for a +4 for a 20.
Wonderful. What emotion would you say that Ostani is feeling right now?
Ostani, if to describe their centaur half as I think of them as, I can't remember the name of the horse, like a Starbrave Rowan Ardens, like very lots of hair at the hooves, thick hair throughout, and that when they come into the presence of the veil, here at this moment, it is like a shuddering awe of, this is the reason I signed on years ago. This is my calling. I am humbled and constantly reminded of why I am here, because of this power, this energy that I can see. And so they, even for a moment, they'll just close their eyes and let it like bask over them and send goosebumps and like a shiver down their spine for a second, just to
As you do, too, and your eyes shut, it's like for a moment you're transported to a different place as that connection with the veil overflows through you. Cascades come out like a ripple effect. And for a moment, a micro second within a second, you get flashes of visions, memory that aren't yours. You get a flash of a small toddler changeling child walking for the first time. You get an image of a groom turning around, large horns, kind of this dryad kind of view within the woods, seeing his partner walking down the aisle. That awe, that humbleness, those connecting emotions going off like fireworks all through as you see just flickers of lives that either have been lived so far or have yet to be born. It is an overflowing river that sometimes even those that are the most connected to it can see that realm of possibility. This is what you're here, not only to protect, but also to help others with that transition. The veil itself isn't the veil of death. That is a completely different veil. This is that intermediate moment, the moment when you are seeing these almost cinematic records of people's lives and deciding whether they are able to go to whatever God's plane that they may worship or not. There's a plane for that too. Or to damn them. You're the ones that help to make those decisions and making sure that they are ferried to the correct places. Essentially, you're the liaison for the soul. And this area is the most dire, the most spiritual place, at least in this southern part of Ampistrano. There are other tears, as they call them, all over Ampistrano, protected by other temples of the Vale. But you are the most connected in this moment. And just as soon as those visions come in, the visions come out, and you find yourselves back within that spiraled staircase. Where are you heading next, Ostani?
As the feeling of a spiritfarer is how I feel in this moment. There are important things to go to next, but also where the current is leading. So if there is something that is nearest to them, they will try to check in on them. So if it is the fledglings or a person who they have to check in with on the way to possibly the preparations for the next event at it is sunset. Yes,
Sunset's the one in the next, I would say, couple of hours. It's starting to be sooner. Right now you're in that kind of adjustment phase because now it's darker sooner. So you're kind of in that weird, it's not going to be light out for another couple of hours like it typically is.
They're definitely feeling that we should still be up, but everyone's slowing down. So, why is it? Oh, yes, it is earlier today. Kind of almost looking around. Maybe their back hoof is like tapping a little bit because they have to go. Just, okay, I have to do things, but also rest needs to happen because dinner is early. Okay, we need to make sure that is happening as well. Great.
With a 16 too, because I'm not going to make you re-roll or have another re-roll, like another roll with this. I think for the slightest moment too, as those kind of memories flood in and you are kind of recollecting yourself to move forward to your next space, your next job in terms of getting ready. Because you don't lead the sunset, you help lead the sunrise. But you're on watch during the night. So this is really more when you're coming awake. And so there is just the briefest of moments where that solid gold line flickers. Looks almost like a green for a briefest of moments. Like you see it, you blink and it's gone. Like it's almost like it wasn't even there.
Like as if they're walking and just as a double take. Could I investigate that? Or...
Sure. You of course can. What would you like to do?
Let's see. Is this typical? Is this something that flashes sometimes?
I'll say based upon your knowledge of the Vale, the line is usually very constant. Every now there are flickers, especially around certain times of the year when either based upon events that are happening in the world that the Vale might be more active, or since we're getting towards the kind of the autumn equinox in a few weeks, the Vale is sometimes known to at least that kind of line to grow slightly, but not flicker. Never flicker, and never you saw, I would say, like a teal green for the briefest of moments.
Yeah, the slowest step backwards. And if it is with the veil, I can either do investigation or religion.
What do you think Ostani would do?
Religion.
Okay. So what specifically with that religion check are you looking for?
It is with the 7.
Okay.
They're looking for patterns in what they know about the veil and what this could signify. Something to investigate further, or something the lady knows and keeps to themselves. Like where are we in this?
Sure. And you got a 7, you said?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So with a 7, you're still relatively new to the kind of higher ups and are still you're still reading through the new kind of handbook of kind of being a keeper of the veil. Um, so this may be in one of the later chapters. It's hard to tell. But at least in terms of like the protocols and stuff that you're aware of in terms of the veil itself and kind of odd activity like this, to go talk to the head keeper about this, who's the one who's going to be leading the ceremony for the sunset. The ever watchful eye of the keeper. They try to keep that information about who exactly it may be private. But you would know that this is Keeper Reina, who she's now been in her post now for the last 20 years. But
Okay.
under her watchful eye, nothing that you're seeing has really been noted. The veil is mysterious. But something like that could be worth looking into.
That's what they'll note. They'll do a little their eyebrow will go up, and slowly as it goes down, their head tilts to where Reina would be at this time.
Sure. Further down. I would say, I think at this point you're on like the 2nd floor down. She's, I would say, on the 7th level down as the spiral staircase just continues. It goes deep within the earth because, again, you're on this side of the cliff. So every now and then on your walk down this spiral staircase, there are candles that are lighting it, but there are also these kind of small little windows that overlook the cliff itself. And that's how you're seeing the sun is slowly starting to make its way to that kind of transitional point as well. That way it's not completely dark and dreary in here, beyond just the gold that's from the veil itself. So I'm guessing that's where you want to head next, to Keeper Reina. Okay.
Yes.
You descend further down. At this point, most everyone's either at classes or getting ready for ceremonies further on. You find yourself stopping on the 7th level, looking to your right, where there is they call it the sun door. Sun meaning office hours, moon meaning work. It's a little dial that changes over top the door to kind of just signal, hey, like, this person might be working and stuff. She's important enough she has a whole floor to herself in terms of just the many offices, the employment of workers, etc. You're not unwelcome here, but you definitely have to have a very specific reason to come here during the day, unless you are much like those tieflings that you just scolded a little bit earlier, unless you've been called to her. It's kind of like going to see the principal when you've done something wrong. So right now, the sun is showing over the door itself. The door is ajar. It is always open. She kind of has that open door policy. But I'm sure Ostani's feeling many emotions.
There's that slight nervousness, like, what am I bringing to this door right now? But what is their status? their rank that the tieflings call them as? I can't remember.
I believe they called you a watcher as well.
Watcher.
You're a
Yeah.
watcher.
So there is that. If they could catch a reflection of themselves, even if it's a poor reflection or just some kind of mirror from like a reflective surface or material, they are doing this like small little face of I am bigger than this. Like I have done what I needed to get here. I can command a room, and with a couple of knocks to watch Arena.
You hear for a couple of moments the sound of the pitter-pattering of quick feet as Keeper Reina's assistant appears at the door. A small halfling woman who's got kind of this kind of mousy brown hair that's pulled up into a really intricate braid. Like it's that kind of braid that it is wrapped several times. You can kind of guess that her hair is probably longer than she is tall. She is wearing these robes of a deep kind of amethyst purple, black underneath them, and then linings of silver. She's got a small kind of headpiece on her kind of forehead marking both the sun and the moon. As well as you can see she's wearing kind of a celestial pin to show that she is kind of higher standing assistant within the veil like the veil itself. Her kind of eyes look over to you, bright, almost black, but you realize every now and then they twinkle as there's almost like constellations within her eyes. And she gives you this kind of very serene kind of look, not hurried in any way. You know this to be her assistant, who she's kind of maybe possibly grooming for command later on, learning the ropes. But you would know this to be Daria, who joined a couple years before you did. She kind of looks at you for a moment. Oh, Ostani, it's been a while.
It has. And how goes your afternoon?
Just the usual, getting ready for the sunset ceremonies, but I gather that's not why you're here to talk shop.
No, I am here to see the keeper. If they are available.
She kind of side glances backwards. I think she's getting off a call with... You see her pausing, listening. She's about to get off a call with the king and his, parliament, so to speak. So she'll be in a great mood to talk, I'm sure.
Great, and I have brought her... Oh, hopefully a good question. Goodness.
Okay.
Well, if I can wait here for a moment and take some of her time.
No.
It shouldn't be too long. I just had a query or two, and then I'll be off.
You're good to go. Don't worry. I'm not going to make you wait out in the hall. No.
Thank you.
The newcomers, yes. That's how we like to make sure that they're listening and paying attention. But you're fine. And she kind of ushers you into this grand kind of hall. Looks almost like a suite. There are kind of fireplaces on the right side as well as the left. This room is ginormous. This takes up, to be probably several floors in itself. That's why she's so low in the levels. There is a stained glass window, which you can see slowly kind of moving against it, the sun, almost perfectly aligned with what the stained glass is showing. The stained glass is showing the kind of reds and blues of the dawn and the day itself on the left. and on the right is the moon side. It's perfectly split, and then kind of dividing through that is the kind of golden line of the veil itself. It looks almost like a clock. And so at this point now, the sun with where it's setting is almost aligned with the afternoon sun within the stained glass. And in it, you see it kind of reflecting across the floor of this kind of stone room in itself. The various reds, purples, blues, teals, greens, looking like almost like a pond, a watercolor painting within this room. The sense of lavender and lilac, subtle. She is not one that likes to have a lot of scents, finding them to be overwhelming. And the very slightest of kind of either a lyre or harp playing in the background. You find her kind of stepping out from one of the doors further into this grand room, is Keeper Reyna. And she is this very tall tiefling who's got almost a moon kind of horn. Looks like part of it broke off. And so the other one seems to have almost tried to compensate for it and is almost like flowing around to that side. She wears over her head this kind of golden, not tiara, but kind of headband. It's hard to kind of tell. That shows both the sun and the moon interconnected. A veil that flows over her long midnight hair. And the veil itself flickers with gold and silver, celestial stars that are constantly moving about it. She's got these bright purple eyes that almost look like translucent. Pale skin. Wearing, honestly, robes that seem like they are changing color as she walks, shifting from midnight to blue to purple to gray. And interestingly enough, you do not hear her walking as she approaches you. Her eyes going from like tired, was clearly in a meeting that was probably should have been just been an email equivalent, to to kind of seeing this at this point. Yara has kind of stepped away, and you can kind of hear the sounds of a tea kind of being made up to kind of accompany you, but also probably relieve Keeper Reyna from the tension headache she is probably dealing with. And she approaches you, arms kind of quickly. You see her shifting into a different kind of work mode. Serene, but still there's a seriousness to her eyes seeing that you're here. And she approaches you. She is actually taller than you. So she's kind of slightly looking down at you as she kind of holds her arms out in agreement and kind of greeting, almost making like the sign of the arches of the veil itself, with her being in this moment, that thread. It's lovely to see you, Ostani of the Veil.
Going around from the stained glass, the clock, noting the time, and how it looks on the floor, this is where Osani is envisioning, this momentum of like being part of the veil and where they could end up if they continue. So it feels so much like, oh, this could be a future home for me, an office like this, a place, a call that I have to take. And landing from that turn to where Reyna joins, they do a small head bow and with a smile, pleasure. I am so grateful you had some time for me.
I always have time for my watchers, of course. Do you, and she kind of eyes Darius as she's kind of moving about the room, do you have time for tea? I have a few moments
I
before needing to wrap up for our sunset ceremony, but I have a few moments if you needed counsel, if that's what you needed.
counsel, yes, and I would love some tea before. I had a question about the veil as I passed along for a second here, and then they're just coming down to where Daria's like setting up everything.
You're kind of seeing in this small, in front of the fireplace, there's a small kind of seating area where these kind of lush kind of couches. There is one that is centaur made. That is, so, accessibility here.
Thank you.
And these lovely kind of teacups that are similar to the motif that carries through the veil itself, a bright, deep purple, and then gold and silver that is constantly twinkling through. You can see she's got an assortment of teas. All of them, though, interesting or not, in a kind of tea packet. All of them are flowers. You know this to place the flower within and then pour the hot water, and the flower blooms, and that's what then is the tea that you're going to be drinking. So, what tea would Ostani go for? Do you think?
Oh, I think they find great pleasure with just like a jasmine green tea.
Okay.
But if I can paint what it looks like,
Go for it, of course.
yeah. There is in South Indian culture this wearing gajar like a long ropes of jasmine, and they're so I just imagine like swirling lines of just jasmine starting like blooming in little ropes around in little circle as Osani's stirring it. So it's like almost squiggly, but very beautiful jasmine with beautiful green. I really love jasmine green tea, and I feel like Ostani does too. Just delicate flower. And as they're seeing it, I get astounded by this every single time.
I know, it feels like magic, doesn't it?
It really does.
And she sips at hers. You can see was an iris, which is, you know this to be like an Earl Grey that kind of blooms. And she kind of sips. Well, I'm always down for a conversation, but your eyes tell me this is something that might be a bit more serious than our light-hearted conversation. What's going on?
Yes, they set it down. A question.
Sure.
How often does the veil exude different colors? Different. I only saw it but for a moment, but a tinge of green, a flash of it. And I swear, I saw it and it was enough for me to stop and pay attention. I couldn't understand more than that, but I knew you might have an idea to this.
At this, she puts the cup down. She does the thing where you go to sip and then stops, puts it down. What do you mean, change?
A quick flash, that's what it was. Nothing changed. It was, for a moment, green. And then before I could even inspect it further, gone.
Her eyes slowly go from kind of more thoughtful to it's like concern, consternation. Well, we are a few weeks from the autumn equinox. It's not unheard of for it to, well, have a mind of its own.
Of course.
But to change color entirely, that's a bit more alarming. we've been, and granted, this isn't exactly public knowledge quite yet. And you kind of see she pauses at this moment, puts the teacup down, and you can kind of see, like, just being so attuned to what's going on, there's just a weird energy that she can't quite seem to keep by sitting. And so she does something that I guess you may or may not characterize as very leaderly, but she gets up and she starts pacing in front of the fireplace. And she's kind of, at this point, paces. She goes over to a bookshelf and pulls one of the books aside. This seems to be like a ledger that she writes in every single day. And at that point, she kind of leafs through. You see her going back a number of pages. You've been hearing about the disappearances within Jorix, correct?
Have I?
Yeah.
That eyebrow goes up, but it's different this time. Ostani's eyebrows, I think, are very expressive, and this one is like, yes.
We're wondering if this might be connected, as we've been getting reports that this may not be an isolated incident within Jorix.
Related to the veil?
There's been reports from several contacts within Illipin that an organization may be moving that threatens the veil itself, as well as the other, well, sections of our pantheon.
Reina.
You can see she's battling between what she can say, what she should say, and just telling you everything.
Mm-hmm. And with that, that's why they like tilt their head, almost their hair kind of collapsing to one side, and they're looking at Keeper Reina's. These chambers are your own, and nothing that you say to me will leave these walls.
If I have your assurance. And she eyes Daria for a moment. Who kind of just nods.
They take a sip of their tea. You are assured.
You see her for a moment, close her eyes, and they flash this kind of iridescent color as she quickly looks around the room. If you would like to roll an Arcana check, I'll allow it. But she's quickly looking around. Has like her finger held out just for you to, just in case you're about to ask her a question. Like of just like, hang on.
Yes. Let me see what their Arcana is. +3. 15.
15. You know for right now, she is literally searching this room to see if there is some kind of scry happening. Either on her, on you, the room itself. She is trying in her way that she can to try and make sure that this room is as secure as it can be. Because there's not any other chamber that she can go to. And after a moment...
Can they help in this?
Sure. What would you like to do?
I don't believe I have something that would detect a scrying, but let's see. Would like to almost create a ward. I'm trying to find something.
Sure.
No, they'll just help in detecting that with them.
Okay. All right. After a moment, her eyes kind of flicker to you and she gives like a small wink of thank you. And as her eyes kind of settle, she seems satisfied. Well, we have gotten reports that in Illipin, which is far more westward, the river city, there have been reports of further kind of people going missing, and that they've appeared quite changed if they do return. We also had a report that I guess there was some kind of shipment that made its way to Jorix successfully. A small group was able to at least get this information from their explorations. Because not only are people going missing, those that have been impacted seem to have some kind of spirit plague, spirit illness that seems to leech on them slowly until there's nothing left. I've gotten the list of the ingredients and we've been trying to see if we can locate it. One of the ingredients is incredibly difficult, but I have an idea of where it might be. If this is indeed what's happening here. And I don't need to tell you, I know you're aware, as you and your... And she pauses and a look of sympathy over her eyes happens for a moment. You and your fellow partner were looking into the lights in the graveyard district.
Yes.
There's been no news, has there?
No news at all.
You kind of see for a moment, like, her eyes flickering between, like, you see her pausing, almost wanting to give you a hug of reassurance. And then, at the same time, just trying to be that pillar that she's supposed to be. Caught between that sense of duty, but also just having humanity and empathizing. Well, we don't know if that's connected, but with everything stacking up the way that it is and the way that you described their disappearance, it's not hard to see that there's overwhelming similarities between the two.
They are quiet at hearing about the connection, but they've been part of the Veil for so long. It's like if they're getting information, they're almost already accepting it. So there's not a lot of resistance. Like, so when they see the similarities, they're like, oh, of course. Okay. What is it that we do next?
Well, reports came in that this group that also was investigating Illipin and another place that I'm not quite sure of, but apparently they were investigating, that group is here, that they've arrived either yesterday or as early as this morning. My hope is that we'll be able to get more information from them. Commander Tyneal, I believe, has sent out a missive to have them come to their office. He has requested a representative of the Veil Temple to go. I was going to send Daria, but... And you see her pause for a second and kind of just looking at you. I don't know if I could ask you to do that, as you might be a bit too close to the case.
To be fair, Keeper, I believe we all are. With the work that we do, we will always be close to anyone touching, reaching the Veil. We all play a part in their journey forward, so... I can put aside my relationship with my friend to make sure their well-being and they're stumbling through it a little bit. Those who also have disappeared, they are of concern to me as well, to all of us. I would like to still be part of this.
Her eyes flicker between you and Daria for a moment. Well, there's one other way we can decide this as well. Let's see what the Veil decides. And she leads the both of you kind of back out into that spiral staircase. Lady of the Veil, she says, kind of arms upheld over the kind of balcony of the stairs, almost touching the thread that's still ever slowly pouring through the chamber itself. 2 candidates stand before you, not to become the next keeper in this case, but I ask for your wisdom of who we may, and she pauses, rethinking her words, who would be the best candidate, representative of you and this temple in the journeys ahead. And she holds her left hand out in front of Daria and her right hand out in front of you. And that's where we're going to take a break. That is where we're going to take a quick 10-minute break to reset, get some water, and all of that stuff. Checking in, Mots, you good? Is everyone having fun so far? Yay. Amazing. All right, we will be back in about 10 minutes. Reminder, if you would like to help support us, consider subscribing to the channel or checking us out on Patreon, as there will be a new update next week, which is very exciting. You'll get to see the new artwork for Mops early if you subscribe to our Patreon. So yeah, we're going to take about 10 minutes, and we will see you all in the Veil very soon. Bye, everybody.